Hey my lovely YouTubers, welcome back to my YouTube channel with me, your girl Morgan Tracy J, coming today with another morning coffee video. And today's video is all about being single, secure, and thriving, okay? And actually this video is partnered with the YouVersion BibleApp. I have a new 14-day devotion for my single ladies, okay? And if you don't know this, I was single for 7 consecutive years, okay? I feel like my whole 20s I was mainly single, all right? But we're gonna get into that, and I'm gonna tell you some things that I wish I did differently in my singleness, and then some things that I did right that is actually blessing my marriage every single day, okay? So I'm super excited to jump into this video and kind of help all my single ladies, because I've been right where you've been less than a year ago, okay? And so I know about the woes of singleness and feeling like, gosh, God, when is it my turn? I know about that. So if you want to check out that devotional, click the link in the description box. All right, let me just start it off. The things I wish I did differently in my season of singleness, okay? And I will say I was single for 7 consecutive years, all right? And I dated for about a year, and then I was single again. And so really about 9 years of singleness, truly. They were just a little broken up because I would date a little, and if things didn't work out, and that's something I wish I did differently. I wish I didn't, every time it didn't work out, I would just take myself off the market. I would quit dating in general. I wish I didn't do that so much, because that is why I was single for all those years. And so if I could go back, I would take my time to heal, but I really would work on healing and not just my comfortable space of being single. I liked being single. I was comfortable with being single. And so every time a relationship wouldn't work out, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna take a year to heal. And then it would turn into 2 years, okay? And so it was good and smart to take my time, but it also showed me that like sometimes you were just wanting to be like alone, and so that's kind of what that was. Something I would do different is I would have quit thinking something was so wrong with me. I will say probably after about 25, 26, I started thinking something was wrong with me. I thought like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I know I'm a pretty woman, I know I'm sweet, I know I'm kind, like what is wrong with me? I wish I would have had a little more peace in just who God created me to be back then, because I always felt like something was wrong with me. And like, why is like for example, my sister got married very young, met her husband very young, and so I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not like that? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not like my other family members, like that had children by now and are married, and like, what is wrong with me? And I wish I didn't think that so much. Looking back, I wish I would have been grounded in who God called me to be, and just secure that, you know what, Morgan, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just not that focused on marriage and children right now. Your energy is more focused on what God has for you. Your spirit is more focused on walking in your purpose, okay? So that feeling of what is wrong with me, I wish that would have been done away with. Something I wish I would have done different is I wish I would have stopped thinking my husband was going to come packaged in a certain way, all right? And I don't know about you, but when you've been single for a long time, your vision gets more and more grandiose, okay? And so in my mind, I think I had this idea of my husband was going to be my age, because that's all I would date, right? It was my age group, obviously. Also, I had this idea that my husband was not going to have partaken in anything like drinking, smoking, anything like that. And I will say, when I met my husband, he wasn't my age, and he did have occasional drinks sometimes. And I remember I was like, oh, no. And actually, with time and prayer, like, he hasn't drank in so long, over a year plus. But with that being said, I do wish, looking back, that my vision of marriage wasn't so grandiose. Like, oh, he's gonna be perfect, he's gonna be a finished product, we're gonna get together, he's not gonna have any debt, I'm not gonna have any debt, we're gonna be so perfect. Like, I wish I wouldn't have thought so grandiose and just been a little more like, he's gonna be the man God has for me, and he's gonna be like a good man. And that's exactly what he is, obviously. But I wish I would have been more settled in that. And it took me through dating that I was like, oh, this is a good man. Something I wish I would have done different is I wish I would have stopped waiting on an ex or situationship, okay? So in my early 20s, I had a lot of heartbreak. I went through some real relationship woes, and it made me kind of sit down and wait. It's almost like I waited for some years that this relationship would get resolved. And I've chatted with so many women that it would be, for some women, it's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, where they've sat and they're waiting. Even though their life is going on, their heart is still waiting for that one relationship to get resolved. And I really wish I wouldn't have done that. I did that for some years, honestly. In the probably first 5 years of my waiting, of my singleness, I was kind of, even though I was moving forward, my heart was still kind of waiting. And looking back, I'm glad that, God allowed me to be protected in that season and everything. But looking back, I wish I would have done a little more dating. I wish I would have got out more. I wish I would have lived a little more, because there's so many women, and myself included, where we wait on a relationship to resolve itself, or a situationship, hoping it's going to resolve itself. But I will say, the man God has for you, you're not going to have to jump through hoops. You're not going to have to be in this waiting window. You're not going to have to wonder if he wants you. You're not going to have to wonder if he likes you. Like, girl, out there, he will not be with another person if he or his, like there's so much of the fogginess that comes when our hearts is so settled on an individual. And honestly, meeting my husband, it was just like, oh, this is just, the man wants you, he wants you, he's for you, he's involved, he's good, he's a godly, bam, you're married. Like it's so clear, and it's no games, it's no confusion. So if it's like, oh, well, he's with someone else right now, but he's gonna come back to me. Oh, no, girl, no. Oh, we ain't spoke in 3 years, but I know he's the one. No, he might be the one for you, but you might not be the one for him, okay? And so there's so much confusion sometimes, like, oh, we've been married, or we were once and we got divorced, but I just know it's gonna turn back around. No, sis, if he's already going on living his life, let that man go and you go on and live your life. And so that is something I wish I did not do when I was in the beginning stages of my single journey. I wish I didn't wait on an ex. Something else I would do different is I would have got out more and lived. And I just kind of touched on this, but I really would have got out more and I would have lived more. I would have went to more coffee shops. I would have met up with my friends. I would have tried to travel. Like, there were about 5 years there. I wasn't really doing too much but working on the ministry, which is great. The ministry is so beautiful today. But I wish I would have lived a little more in my singleness those first 5 years, because your girl was kind of like stuck in this, like, imagination world. And so it worked out for me, but looking back, it's like, you should have not been waiting, you should have been living. Okay. Also, something I wish I would have done better in my singleness is I wish I would have been a little more consistent with the way I lived. Okay. The reason I say that is, living with a husband now, the areas you're not consistent in, it shows. So if you're not consistent in washing your clothes every week, it's gonna show. If you're not consistent in the way that you live, and you're like, stuff is everywhere, your life is everywhere, you'll leave dishes in the sink for 2 weeks, whatever that may be for you, yeah, it's gonna definitely start showing in your marriage. Okay. And so for me, looking back, I wish I would have had the structure I have now. I wish I would have had that then, because my life would have had so much more peace. And so I do love that. Like, looking back, my living style, the way I would clean up, the way that I would just go anywhere and do anything, and like, all of that has changed so much. Okay, let me tell you some things that I know that I'm glad I did in my singleness that I'm still implementing in my marriage right now. There's a quote by Dr. Miles Monroe. He says, your marriage is only as good as your singleness. And I would hear this all the time and be like, so I need to enjoy my singleness. But living it now, I realize that everything I did in my singleness, I'm still doing those same things. Now I'm just doing it with my husband, right? So if I would go to the office, if I would go on a run, if I would go travel for ministry, if I would stay up late and have popcorn movie nights, if I would have my self-care, skincare weekend nights, all that stuff I'm still doing. I'm just doing it with my husband now, or actually I'm giving him good skincare these days too. His skincare game is key. Oh, it's tea right now, okay? But that's because of me. But anyway, so there's just like, I realize that singleness, truly, the person you are in singleness, you're carrying that person right into your marriage. And this should have been clear for me, but I remember years ago I was dating this guy, and we had a big falling out. The relationship ended, but right when it ended, he proposed to me. And I think he proposed in a way to like keep me, because it was ended, it was over, and he proposed. And I remember I was like confused. I was crying because, I mean, I did love him. He just proposed, but also he did some things, and some things happened, and it ruined the relationship really. And so I remember I was like crying, and I was upset, and I was like talking to the Lord. And I was like, Lord, what do I do? Like, is this man the man you have for me? Like, what do I do? I mean, this was years on years ago. It was like 5-7 years ago, okay? But he was like, the Lord said, I said, well, how's our marriage going to be? Just let me know, like, what we're going through right now, like, will this even be a part of our marriage, or how will our marriage be? And the Lord said, your marriage will be exactly how dating is. Everything he's doing to you in dating, he's going to do that in your marriage. That's exactly what the Lord said. And guess what, y'all? I did not accept that engagement, and I moved on with my life, because I realized the man that he was was going straight into our marriage. He wasn't going to change. He wasn't going to change overnight. The man that he was going to be the man in that marriage. The woman that I was in singleness was going to be the same woman I was going to be in marriage. And so I'm just sharing that with you right now. Who you are is who you carry into marriage. So don't think your dating is horrible and then you're like, oh, well, you know, when I get married, things will be better. No, truly. Prayerfully, they do get better, but you're carrying those same habits and those same things that you always struggle with right into your marriage. If you're depressed, when you get married, you're still going to be depressed. If you got a lot of anxiety in singleness, you're going to have that same anxiety when you get in marriage. Now it's just going to be new things spurring up, right? So just be aware of that, okay? And that's something I have had to learn. Something that I did in my singleness that I'm so glad I did was falling in love with the woman God created. I did not always like my size. I didn't like my skin. I didn't like my teeth. There was a lot of things about myself I did not like, but I loved who God called me to be. I loved that, you know, the woman that I was. Now, sometimes I could look in the mirror and not quite love what I saw, but I love the heart that God gave me. I love the passion. I love the compassion that God gave me. So when I say falling in love with that woman, it's like falling in love with the inner parts of you. I say that because when you fall in love with yourself, you start to honor yourself. And when I didn't quite love myself, I could do things and be in relationships that truly was not honoring. And so in turn, in singleness, falling in love with myself, honoring myself, allowed me to be able to honor myself in relationships. So dating, obviously, my husband, dating him, I was able to honor myself. I was able to be like, hey, like, I really like you, but no, I'm not staying over. I'm not gonna go to your house. Like, oh, I really like you. You know, like, I feel the vibes too, but hey, we would no. Right? You have to have a boundary to where you honor yourself and love yourself. And that is something that I didn't get in the beginning part of my singleness, but the later years of my singleness I got, and I'm so glad I did. Because honestly, to this day, my husband always says, like, you were just so grounded, like you were unmovable, you know? And so that is like, for him, was just like, he respected that so much. Even though he tried it a few times, he respected it. Another thing I will say that in singleness is that I learned is to utilize wisdom. Wisdom is the application of knowledge, okay? And so as a woman that was walking in purity, you know, wanting to wait until marriage with my husband and everything like that, I knew that there were things I had to be smart with. Okay, let me tell you this. So when I say use wisdom, I remember like I was dating my husband now, but he was my boyfriend, and he like was trying to give me money or something. This was early on. And I will tell you, we dated for about a year and a half to almost 2 years, and then we got married in the 2-year mark. But that first year, I did not let this man give me no money, okay? Nothing. He didn't pay my home. I had my own home. I had my car. I had my bills. He didn't pay nothing. And he tried. I would not let him. Because wisdom told me, like, if you start allowing this man to even just pay a water bill or just something small like that, there could come a time where he may have an expectation. Not saying that's him, but there could have been, you know? And as a woman using wisdom, if you're not trying to do certain sexual things, you need to not be taking too much, because for a certain man, they can start having expectations, okay? And so, not saying that was with my husband, he just never paid for anything, but I just didn't want to open up that door and ever have that issue. But he was not the only man I've done this with. Every man I've dated, I would not take money from. And some of them would offer it. Some of them would try to, you know, give me all these gifts or certain things. And I'd be like, thank you, but I'm really not, you know, that's not really me. And it just really isn't in the first place, though. That's really not me. But I will say this, use wisdom in your singleness. So when you're single and you start getting to know people and dating, oh man, this man, like my bills are I'm really down bad in my bills, and he want to pay my bills. But what happens when he wants something else too? Or what happens when he ain't good for you no more, he hollering at you, beating on you or something, but you need him to pay those bills because you have no other way to pay those bills, right? Like, wisdom let me know, like, do not let this man pay your bills, but also be clear enough that you don't need him to pay your bills. Like, just trust me, it would have been great to have a couple extra thousand in my pocket at that time, but the truth is I didn't need him to do that. I was already doing that on my own, and so there was no need for me to kind of like, oh yeah, I'll take that because it's offered. No. Use wisdom, even in dating, even if you feel like this person is my husband. And I felt like that pretty early on. But with that being said, still use wisdom. And I feel like in singleness, that's something I want to tell women all the time. Still use wisdom. Do not let the man come in and like, or you start dating and it's like, all your wisdom just falls to the wayside. No, you still use that wisdom even in your dating, even in your little curfews. I know, like, I would give myself, even in college when I was like getting to know a guy, I would give myself a 10 o'clock curfew. That was college, okay? And even for me and my husband, the first 6 months, I think, of dating, it was 6 or 8, maybe almost a year, I had a 10 o'clock curfew. It wasn't anyone else putting that curfew on me. I put that curfew. At 10 o'clock, I was leaving, okay? And so that was something I did for myself. Next thing and last thing I will say is that even though you may be single and you're like, man, I can't wait till the day I get married and get to share my life with someone, even when you're married, you're gonna miss your singleness some days, okay? Like, I gotta tell you, there has been so many days since I've been married that I have missed my singleness. Because when you're single, you get to deal with your own stuff. You get to do your own schedule, your own thing. If you want to eat popcorn for dinner, you eat popcorn for dinner. If you want to not eat nothing, if you want to be praying and screaming in the house, like, you can do that, amen? And so there has been some days, even on this beautiful wedding process or beautiful marriage journey, I have had where I've been like, oh, I kind of miss my singleness, okay? So that's what I want to tell you, that even when you get married, there's going to be moments where you miss it. Not saying you'll go back there, but there is parts of like, man, that was a beautiful luxury that I didn't even know I had, right? And let me tell you right now, there's a couple luxuries as a single woman I did not know I had. First off, the first luxury I had was if I wanted to get up at 3 in the morning and pray all day, I could pray all night, scream, holler, shout. I could do that. Now I can do it kind of, and my husband gonna wake up. He'll go through, he'll just let it pass, but that's a luxury I had that I did not know that I had. Another luxury I had was if I was a late day, got home late, I could just lay out on the couch the rest of the evening. If I want to eat popcorn, if I want to eat a bowl of cereal, if I wanted to woo-saw, if I just want to be by myself, right? Like, that was a luxury I had that I do not quite have anymore, okay? And so that will say that as a single woman, you are sitting on such a blessing. And so build those dreams, go after those purposes and those goals. Do not allow that time to be wasted. And so then when you get married and you step into marriage, you're like, oh, I've already built all this. Like, come on, you know what I mean? I got this stuff settled. Like, and so I do love that. I love that the Lord allowed me to build the vision he put in my heart way before I was married, because now it's almost like, it's so beautiful. My husband like drops by the office to bring me lunch or something, or he just drops in and I love it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm so glad I did it the way the Lord called me to do it and not the way I wanted to do it. I'm so glad. But anyways, I guess I can end this video here. It went a little longer. Check out that devotional over on the Bible app. All right, Single, Secure, and Thriving. That is for my girlies. Also, we have some His Daughter's Closet journals over at our shop right now. Just some blank journals if you just want one. Click the link in the description box as well. We got a journal for you. All right. Well, bye, ladies. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in my next one.